I went into my boss's office and I said to him, I can't do this anymore. And he was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about that you're missing something? Women are incredibly resilient,
Mhm.
and most female founders are super successful and never lose money. Jump, the parachute will open.
Welcome to CEO with Sophie, the podcast for ambitious women navigating corporate life while creating a career and life that truly lights them up. Whether you're climbing the ladder, pivoting, or redefining what success means to you, know this: you're not alone and you don't have to figure it out by yourself. If you're ready to grow, lead, and thrive, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. I'm Sophie, and this is CEO with me. Hello, Leanne. I am so excited to have you here today. I suppose to give everyone a little bit of a background, when I started this podcast, I was like, this is for the corporate babes, the women that are in the corporate world. We're grinding, we're hustling, we're living the 9 to 5 dream. But when I spoke to you, I just loved the fact that you've been out, done it, got the t-shirt, and now you're an entrepreneur. And I just think this is so relevant to those that are potentially looking to kind of dive into going on their own. So welcome, Leanne. Happy to have
Thank you. Thank you, Sophie. I'm so happy to be on this podcast and to be able to share my story with all of your audience and to hopefully resonate with some of them that are in this space that are maybe looking to make the leap, not really sure whether they should.
Yeah.
Hopefully, by the end of this conversation, they'll feel empowered and they'll hear my story and hopefully, be brave enough and bold enough to take that move. So super excited to be here and thank you for asking me.
Yeah, of course. Well, let's dive into it. For anyone who doesn't know you, who are you?
Wow, that's such a big question because it's never an easy one to answer because who are we, right? We're a multifaceted human being that is, a mother, a wife, a boss, a business owner, a friend, a colleague, a sister. As women, we carry many titles. But essentially, what I do is that I work in the affiliate marketing industry, so online marketing, have done for almost 2 decades. So literally started when the internet was a dial-up modem, which is so scary to say because I've been around for so long. And yeah, I have navigated my entire adult career through what's been happening in the online space. And I'm sitting at the forefront of it now, having kind of been here for 2 decades, and going through the evolution of the internet. And we're on the cusp of another one yet again. So I'm constantly learning, constantly thinking about, how do I service our clients? I'm an agency owner. I'm a fellow podcaster, so I have my own podcast called the Affiliate Marketing Podcast. And generally just I'm here to help others understand how to kind of work in the affiliate marketing space, harness that for their business and, grow their business through online sales with partnerships. And it sounds complicated, but that's kind of what it is. It's really simple. So I just help brands find partners that can drive sales to their website.
Yeah, amazing. And I was going to ask that, affiliate marketing, it sounds really sexy and mysterious. And to be honest, I
Yes.
never really knew what it was. I just know of marketing.
Yeah.
But you kind of broke it down well there. But for anyone who really just does not know what it is, or,
Yeah.
is in marketing or wants to go into marketing, what is it?
Yeah. So basically, affiliate marketing is the process of partnering with third parties to collaborate and actually reach their audiences. So, for example, if you've ever bought insurance online, you might have gone to a website like Go Compare here in the UK or moneysupermarket.com to go and check out which insurance you want to buy. Those websites have built a customer brand and audience, helping people to find insurance, and they direct you off to the company that matches your requirements for whatever it is that you're searching for, whether it's home insurance or car insurance or whatever it is, life insurance. When they pass you on to the correct supplier or provider, they earn a commission when you purchase. And it happens in all industries, from insurance to retail to, if you're looking at a influencer on TikTok and they're trying to sell you a pair of Halara jeans, for example, they're getting a commission whenever you check out of that basket. So it's literally just referral business through partnerships. And that's as simple as I can explain it, basically.
Yeah. But you never think about that. I never think about, especially if going Go Compare or something like this, that, oh, they're actually going to get a cut of it. I just look at the prices of what I'm about to
Yeah.
pay and go for the cheapest one. But
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. That's
So
a
they
good.
influence the buyer journey. So we don't all go direct to the company or the brand that we want to buy. So, for
Yeah.
example, even for shoes,
Mm.
I shop around. There's a really big website here in the UK called the Sole Supplier. They aggregate all of the different brands and all of the different, merchandise for the brands. So
Yeah.
you get to go to one platform to look for every kind of tennis shoe, and
Yeah.
then you can purchase. And when you purchase, because they provided that service during the shopping journey, they earn a percentage of whatever it is that you purchase on the checkout. So really, it's a publisher model.
Yeah.
They've built content or websites or platforms that can help
Well,
you in the buying journey, and in doing so, and in helping you to actually purchase the goods or services that you're looking for, they earn a commission or a cut.
makes sense. And did you say like influencers are part of this now
Mm,
as well?
absolutely, yeah. So if you think about how we shop online, like some
Mhm.
people like me, I mean, I'm on TikTok all the time looking at all the latest trends. And if I check out through my TikTok, that gets tracked through the advertiser's website as a sale. And the influencer that's promoted me to that product, they would earn a commission from that sale.
Yeah.
All of this is highly regulated in the US and the UK as well. So there's always disclaimers and, clickable links and,
Yeah.
cookies and consent and everything else. But it's quite a sophisticated model, and it's very much embedded into the shopping experience, whether you go in
Mm.
through Google, whether you go in through, social media channels, Instagram, whatever it is. But anyway, and now even with AI. So AI is now implemented. I think PayPal was the first payment provider that integrated direct into ChatGPT. So if you find something or are delivered something through any of these channels and you check out, that process is happening in the background.
Oh, wow. I mean, there are some influencers out there that are making money off me, I have to say.
All of us.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's the simplest form of basically what we call old school affiliate marketing.
Okay, it's pretty cool then.
Mm.
Okay, interesting. How did you get into it? Like, yeah.
Quite by accident. So I started in online marketing 20 years ago. I had a traditional marketing background. And I think the thing that made me switch from traditional offline marketing or above the line marketing was the fact that I could tell when something was working because everything was trackable and instant. So, if you did a media campaign, you'd have to wait 2 or 3 weeks for the campaign to play through. Then you'd have to get all the data. Then you'd have to see, has this worked or has it not worked? With online, it was literally instant. As soon as people started clicking on the link, you had data. You could tell whether the campaign was working, whether it was resonating, whether it was converting. And I think that instant gratification just kind of blew my mind back then. And I just fell into it. And the beautiful thing about affiliate marketing versus social media or SEO or any of the other types of online marketing is that affiliate combines both data and people.
Yeah.
So you have to build a partnership, a business partnership with another human being who has a business, who is an entrepreneur. So basically, I'm in the business of managing other entrepreneurs, and I'm an entrepreneur myself. So it kind of just organically happened. And I think most people you speak to that get into affiliate and performance marketing,
Yeah.
all of us have fallen into it by accident because it's
Mhm.
not a medium that you go to school to study.
Yeah.
It's something that you just kind of transition in through direct, marketing channels. But once you're in, it's kind of like the Hotel California. Like you check in, but you never leave because it just becomes so interesting.
Yeah.
And it has not changed in 20 years. Like it continues to change all the time. It is not stagnant. It's not like you learn it once and it stays that way forever. Every day there is a new technique, a
Yeah.
new strategy, a new platform, a new way of thinking. We're on a precipice right now in digital where we're going to go into a whole new era of online and how people search and shop and engage online. And tracking methodologies have to change along with that. So, what we do now versus what we did 20 years ago in affiliate
Yeah.
marketing is completely different. And I think my swan song to the industry one day when I check out is I'm probably going to write the history of affiliate marketing because I was there from day one.
No.
And I'm currently living it, and I have lived it for most of my adult life. So it's been a wild ride, in an industry that grows by double digits every year, and there is actual data now to support this. Very little is known about it, and it's
Mm.
kind of hidden in the fringes of what else happens, with PR and media and paid campaigns and everything else,
Yeah.
and social media as well. Those are the sexy channels, but the channel that is actually grinding at the back and growing by double-digit percentage points every single year is partnership and performance marketing. And yet very few people know about it. Like if
Yeah,
I like even to this day, my dad will ask me, what is it that you actually do? Like, do you work with computers? And I'm like, no, like I work with people. I
yeah,
work with partners. I build partnerships. And it's even sometimes difficult to explain what affiliate marketing is because it encompasses everything. It
yeah,
encompasses SEO publishers. It encompasses, paid media partners. It encompasses content creators. All of those people are working in a performance basis. So they're working on a partnership basis. So it's not a source, it's not a channel anymore. It's now a payment method. It's
right,
paying for performance. And so it's just mushroomed compared to what it was before, like 22 decades ago.
yeah,
And I think that's why I've stayed because I'm kind of like, I think you have to be a little bit ADHD to work in this industry because every day you got to learn something new and you got to be
yeah,
comfortable with that.
yeah,
And I think that skill set has actually led quite nicely into me becoming an entrepreneur in my own right,
yeah.
throughout my career. So yeah, it's been a wild ride, but it's such an awesome industry. So if anybody's listening to this and you're interested in getting into the industry, feel free to like reach out to me because I'm a massive advocate about bringing, new talent into this space. Because people find it by accident. There's no
Yeah.
school of affiliate marketing
Yeah. I mean, it's the same with
yet.
recruitment, right? You know,
Yeah,
everyone just falls into it. Obviously, I've done that for like over 10 years now. I did not wake up going, oh, I'm going to work in recruitment, especially
exactly.
agency recruitment. I think
Yeah,
internal might be slightly different if you're going down that HR route because you can get degrees and whatnot. But agency
yeah.
recruitment, no. So yeah, I'm the same as you. Fell into it, but yeah, I do completely agree that not many people know about it. You know,
Mm-mm.
affiliate marketing. I only know about it from my brother-in-law, which
Yeah,
obviously you know.
yeah.
So, outside of that, I was like,
Never
don't
heard
I
of it.
never heard of it. So,
And yet,
yeah.
it's a multi-million-dollar industry that is growing
Mm,
year on year.
yeah,
Um, and
yeah,
it's regulated both here in the UK and in the US. Not so much in kind of like other countries like Europe where it's still a little bit
yeah,
new to the marketplace. But yeah, it's a phenomenal industry to work in.
yeah. Oh, I love this. Now I need to go look into it, see what it's all
Yeah.
about. What made you jump from being like an employee to an owner? Like, what
Yeah.
really kind of was that defining moment of I'm going to have my own business?
It's a journey. Okay. So I spent the better half of almost 20 years in corporate, like big corporate finance, like retail, like massive big corporate companies. And
Mm,
as you're growing, and it's a good place to be, it's a good place to get your foundation when you're young and you're starting your career because many different companies work many different ways. And when you work at multiple companies, you start to see lots of different methodologies of how business runs, which is a great foundation. But I
mm,
think for me, I sort of got to a point where I kind of reached that VP director, and I thought, I'm either going to sit here for the next 10 years
mm,
and just check out at 65, or I can make the leap, go build something for myself in the way that I wanted with no strings attached, really change the face of how we deliver services, do the white glove stuff that I love, not have to conform to anybody else's idea of how things should be, processes. You
yeah,
kind of get to a point in your career where you just go, it's now or never. If I, I've got an idea, I'm really well versed. And I started my business really late. Like I wasn't a young entrepreneur. I started this business 6 years ago. I was in my 40s, so I was very self assured in terms of who I was as a person, what my skill set was. I was highly, um, I'm a thought leader in affiliate marketing, so I had the kind of the proof, the social proof
yeah,
already because I had been successful in my career that made it easier for me to jump into being an entrepreneur. But let me caveat, age is not um, a skill set that you need to be an entrepreneur. So if you're a
yeah,
young person, 25, 26, 27, you've got a great idea, you've got a passion for what you do, you've done the market research, you know that this is going to work and you 100% believe in it, don't wait until you're 40 to launch it. Like do it now. You will know inside. And I really want to talk about like soul-led
mm,
um, management, like soul-led leadership, right? You will know in your gut when it is time or when you are feeling that it is time for you to make your mark on the world and to start your business and to take what it is that you have to deliver and push it out into the marketplace. And
Yeah.
but it is such a scary step. I know, I've been there, I've done it. I was very fortunate that I have, a partner, a husband that could support me. So it wasn't as scary as doing it alone. I know many women that step out of corporate, safe, jobs, careers. They throw caution to the wind. They, take a risk. Sometimes it
Yeah.
works, sometimes it doesn't. It's not always going to work. And sometimes you'll have to iterate and get a little bit comfortable with failure. Um, but when you have a passion and you believe in something, and you put the right tools and plans in place, you can only succeed. Like, women are incredibly resilient,
Mhm.
and most female founders are super successful and never lose
Yeah.
money because they understand the risk, and because they can multitask, and because they can literally manufacture something out of nothing.
Yeah.
So none of this, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you're on the precipice and you want to leap, jump, the parachute will open, because you are your own worst enemy when it comes to believing in yourself. And I've heard many stories about corporate where, if there's a man and a woman in a room and there's an opportunity for a promotion, the man will assume the promotion is his, the woman will try and explain why it should be hers.
Mm.
And I don't know if you've heard those stories before, but
Yeah.
like, don't wait, because if you wait, it might never happen.
Yeah.
And I hope that resonates with people that are listening. I waited a long time. I should have maybe done it when I was in my late 20s, when I was already flying high and, an expert. Got sucked into you need a stable job, you need to
Yeah.
be, respectable. I then
Mm.
had a child who, like, you go through life, you get married, you have a baby, you do the things, you do all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
things that are expected of you. But honestly, I can say with hindsight now, for me, it worked, being a late entrepreneur. It worked being a late entrepreneur because I wasn't as panicked. I
Yeah.
was already settled. I had all the things and all the support around me in order for it to be successful. Maybe if I tried it 10 years earlier, I possibly would have failed. And I would have still had learnings from it, but I would have had time to start again and do it again. So there is no right or wrong move here, is what I'm trying to say. It's, whether you're young and thinking about starting a business, go do it.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen? And if you're older and you're thinking about starting a business, go do it, because what's the worst that can
Yeah.
happen?
Mhm.
There is no right or wrong. Just, you'll know. And it was literally a feel. It was a
Wow.
feel that I'd worked for a company for 8 years, got, promoted, was very well compensated, was pivotal, in the management team, was treated very well in a big
Yeah.
corporate business, and yet still something was missing. And I'll never
Mm.
forget, and this is quite a personal story I'm going to share now, but I went into my boss's office and I said to him, I can't do this anymore. And he was like, "What are you talking about? You're up for promotion. You're going to get a massive 6-figure bonus at the end of the year. You are
Mm.
not stressed. You've got a whole team that does everything for you. Like, what are you talking about? Just stay here, do the right thing, you know, stick to the corporate stuff, retire early. Like, you've got everything mapped out for you. What are you talking about that you're
Yeah.
missing something?" But I knew inherently in me that there was more. There was more that had to
Mm.
be given. There was more that had to be birthed. It wasn't going to happen here because this was the confines of where I was. And not in a bad way, not in a way where, I was being held back or restricted or nothing like that. It just wasn't, I didn't have the space to birth and bring forward what I knew had to be brought forward into the world. And
Wow.
so therefore the phrase square peg, round hole. I was a square peg in a round hole. And that's where I knew, I had a choice. I either need to take that leap of faith, believe in what I know, follow that path and do it with bravery, because it does take a lot of bravery to do this, or I stay where I am, but then I can't complain about it.
Yeah.
That's kind of the precipice of what happened to me. And I took the path of bravery because I could,
Yeah.
and I thought about it for a very long time. I actually tried to resign, and 6 months later I was still at the company. They gave me a sabbatical, they gave me a salary increase, and they were like, "What more do you want?" And I was like, "There's nothing that you can give me. There's
Yeah.
nothing that you can give me here. that I need or want any longer. And that is when I knew that it was time to leave. And I
Wow.
remember walking out of that company with, amazing farewell, all the best wishes. But up until 6 p.m. on the last day that I was working there, I was still answering emails. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm leaving today. Like, why am I dealing with this? Like normally in your last week, you kind of like,
Yeah.
flitting out. But I worked a 6-month notice period. I mean, it was crazy. Tried to resign, and a year later, I was still there. And then eventually on the last day, I left. And I took a couple of weeks off, and I think that was very important as well.
Yeah.
Is if you're going to make that leap, give yourself some space to actually
Mm.
think about what it is, because I'll tell you some of the failures that I made early on as an entrepreneur as well, because I think it's important to share this.
Yep.
I knew I had to leave. I didn't plan properly what I was going to do. I knew
Okay.
what I
Yep.
wanted to be. I knew what I wanted to build. I didn't plan properly what I was going to do.
Okay.
And what ended up happening is I built an accidental media company whilst I was launching an agency. And now I have two businesses. I never set out to run two businesses, but that's just what got birthed. And also because I didn't plan it properly in a
Yeah.
good way. I mean, it's
Mhm.
not a bad thing. It's never a bad thing, but it didn't have to be that hard. It didn't
Yeah.
have to take me building two businesses to become an entrepreneur. I could have just built one.
Yeah.
Another, and I know you haven't asked me about failures, but it feels kind of right to talk about it now.
Yeah.
But another piece of advice that I can give looking back, because hindsight is a wonderful thing, is don't be in a rush. Enjoy
Okay.
the journey.
Mm.
The biggest step is the hardest step, taking that leap of faith and going, am I going to fly or am I going to sink? And believe me, you will fly. Okay, if you're ready, if you are truly feeling into yourself and you know that this is the right move for you,
Mm.
nothing that anybody says or does is going to make you fail, because you've got that dogged determination to go and launch. That's not the hardest part. The hardest part of being an entrepreneur is learning to live with the micro failures, because they will happen. No matter how all the best laid plans, intentions, you are going to have to switch from being, this is my job and I do this every day, to I'm now responsible for everything and everything and everyone is now on my shoulders. And in that phase, and this is something that I've recently gone through, and it is like a life cycle, it's like a learning journey when you launch a business.
Yeah.
In that phase, you forget about self and you give everything to the business, and there's nothing left for you. And you end up grinding, 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 because you chose to be an entrepreneur. You've got all of this responsibility, and you lose the original passion for why you did it in the
Yeah.
first place. And you can get burnt out. And so those are my two things that I would want to leave your audience with: is get very clear on what it is that you're doing and why,
Yeah.
and remember to love yourself through the process. Because
Yeah.
if you can't do those two things, you're not going to be fulfilled. You will have done all of this and it wouldn't have got you to where you want to be.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so that's kind of like my
Love it.
story. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's
No,
quite
that's
deep, but
thank
I've
you.
shared that all.
Um, Question, do you feel fulfilled now? Now you have
Yes.
the business? Yeah.
I feel fulfilled because what I've seen come through is not what I've done, but what the team
Mm.
that I've built around the business has achieved. And
Yeah.
it is phenomenal to watch these people come to work for me and with me every day to deliver the vision that we have.
Yeah.
And to me, that is the bit that is fulfilling. I have seeded this and watched it grow, but not
Mhm.
through my own effort, through the people that have come to join me.
Yeah.
And to me, there is no greater blessing, to see something birthed from scratch, see it now has a life of its own. It doesn't need me. I mean, I'll be honest with you, and I'll share. I mean, being an entrepreneur is also great because you can decide what you're going to do when you
Yeah.
want to do it. So for example, today I woke up and I didn't feel like working, so I went to the beach. Then I had a walk. Then I phoned my team and said, hey, what's on the slab for today? And everybody was sorted. So I was like, do you need me? And all of them said no.
Yeah.
So I went to the beach today and then I came here to do this podcast. Now, I'm not saying every day is like that. I
Yeah.
mean, some days
Yeah.
I graft and do 18 hours a day, but and I now take the time, which is why I had that conversation 5 minutes ago. I now take the time to have the time when the time is offered to me.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I would have sat in the office anyway, grinded away, not taken the time for myself, and got burnt out.
Yeah.
So I am now 6 years into this journey, learning to appreciate the benefits of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And if you can try and toggle that and do that in the first 6 months of launching your business, believe me, you're going to be so successful. But it's
Yeah.
taken me 6 years to learn that.
But I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs, right? Is because they see,
Mm,
this freedom, or they hope for this freedom. I remember I had a chat, this went back years ago before I moved to the US actually, from someone. He was an entrepreneur, very successful, had a multi-million pound business, very good
mm,
friend of mine. And he basically said to me, like, why would you consider like leaving a really well paid job, where you're comfortable, where you can work a 9 to 5 and go and have the stresses of being an entrepreneur and having your own business? He goes, yeah, you could go and make a lot of money, but also you'll probably end up working long hours and you'll be even more burnt out. And, I think that resonated with me. But I think if you're
mm,
truly supposed to be an entrepreneur, like, you will want to do it, and you'll feel it in your bones that you
mm.
do it to be fulfilled. But how does someone really know if they're meant to start a business, or if they're better like thriving inside one?
The only way that I can explain it, and I don't know if you've ever heard of a woman called Brené Brown. She
Yeah.
wrote a book called The
Yes.
Heart Atlas.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So it's actually scientifically proven now that your heart is a bigger organ than your head. And the way to make a decision being heartfelt
Mm,
is you put your hand on your heart and you breathe, and eventually your body actually deactivates your brain and makes your heart make the decision.
yeah.
And it's quite interesting. If you do that, if you go into yourself, maybe meditate, whatever, put your hand
Yeah.
on your heart and go, where is it that I'm meant to be that is going to serve my highest purpose? You will feel if the time is right, and you will feel if that is the right decision. I
Mhm.
call that going with the flow.
Yeah.
Now, the flow could mean for you staying in your corporate job, being successful and, enjoying the life that you have and
Yeah.
taking your holidays every day. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no more than or less than in being an entrepreneur or an employee. But at some point, if you get to that crux where something is missing, like it was for me, you will know that the time is right. And
Yeah.
only you will know. Nobody will be able to tell you. Nobody will be able to show you. Only you will know. So it's
Mm,
a leap of faith in yourself and a leap of faith that what you've got to give is going to be beneficial to others.
yeah.
And
Oh, I
that's when you know that it's time for
love
you to move on.
Yeah, I love that. I used to do a lot of the kind of holding your heart, but
Mm,
with my life coach, that was how she would get me to think and feel like in my body. She was like, "Your body knows. Like, your
yep,
body will tell you
100%.
like what you're thinking, how you're feeling." So sometimes just sit and just feel in your body. I think I need to do that more actually. I've kind of
It
slowed down.
is so important. And you'll talk to lots of entrepreneurs. I mean, you obviously do on this podcast,
Yeah.
but a lot of entrepreneurs will tell you that they get to a point in their entrepreneurial journey where they start to have morning routines. Like, so Jeff
Mm,
Bezos does it. He walks for an hour every morning before he starts his day. And he does not give that hour up for anybody or anything.
no.
And in that hour is when you go into self and when you
Yeah.
learn to pause, because there is so much power in the pause.
Yeah.
We think pausing is a sign of weakness, that it's a sign of uncertainty, that it's a sign of not knowing who you are, what you're meant to be doing. Pausing is very, very important. And the Buddhists, and I know we're talking about a whole bunch of stuff here, but the Buddhists actually believe that the most powerful breath is the breath in between the inhale and the exhale. So when you hold it,
Okay.
that
Yeah.
air is going through your body, floating through your
Mm,
cells, re-energizing your um I don't know, energy field, your vibe, whatever it is.
yeah. Yeah.
But the breathing in is
Mm,
just as important as the holding and the breathing out. And that holding space is when you will know, is when you will feel.
yeah.
In between the breathing and the breathing out, in between the doing and the actioning, that's when you will know that it's time.
Wow.
And that's the only way that I can explain it.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, okay. Well, everyone give that a go. I'm
Mm.
gonna do some breathing later now, actually.
They call it box
Mhm.
breathing. You breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, you
Yeah,
breathe out for 4.
yeah, yeah.
So try it and see if
Give
it
it a
works and
go.
see what resonates.
Yeah, exactly. And what was I mean, you've kind of spoken upon it, but what was like the
Mm.
hardest part of building your business? Like the actual part that no one warned you about?
Okay, so the hardest part about building the business is starting it without money, which is what I did. So
Mm,
I had $0 in the bank. I had a big idea. I knew what I wanted to birth forward. I knew what I wanted it to look like, feel like, sound like, look like.
mm,
What I didn't have was any money. Um, and I built a seven-figure business with no money in the bank.
wow.
How I did that was I leveraged my personal brand. So your personal brand is one of the most important assets that you own. And trust is the new currency. So
Mm,
I built this business by building my personal brand, which already had kudos. So the way that I built my business is not maybe going to be the same for, a 25-year-old that's coming out of uni and
yeah,
has a brilliant product idea. But I managed to use my personal brand to build this business, and my legacy of who I am in the industry. If I could do it all over again, I probably would have got investment. I would
yeah,
have got investment. I would have had a clearer plan. But then again, as I told you, my biggest failure was I didn't know what I was building, and I ended up building two businesses at the same time, which is fine because it's worked for me. But
mhm,
maybe that's not everybody's journey. Maybe
yeah,
you can get a little bit more clarity about what you're going to be doing before you make that leap and learn from the experience that
yeah,
I've had. The second thing is make sure that you've got a support network because you cannot do this journey alone. Whether it's your family, your friends, other work colleagues, other entrepreneurs, get into business networking groups, go and be with other entrepreneurs, listen to their stories, hear, how they're facing challenges. Because every year that I've been in business has been a completely different year. No 2 years have ever been the same for me.
oh, wow.
Navigating COVID, pivoting to,
Yeah,
develop new services, losing really, great people that, at the time I really could have done with them not leaving, finding better replacements. Like everything that's happened, I've had to navigate. And every time, um, I kind of call it loops. You have
yeah,
like the highs of, oh my God, we're growing and everybody wants our services and we're so,
yeah,
and then suddenly a client will drop off and you'll go, oh no, we've lost a little bit of money on the bottom line. How are we going to get that back? And then you go to an event and you meet this amazing, awesome client and you're like, woo, we've just signed another $25 million contract. And this is how it is. So you got to get comfortable with that
yeah,
looping up and down, up and down, up and down. So it's a whole new way of being and a whole
yeah,
and I often have this conversation with our finance manager who like is an absolute penny. I mean, he does his job. He counts the pennies, right?
love it.
Whereas I'm more like, you got to spend money to make money. Like, don't worry, we'll spend it this month and next month we'll make it back. And trying to balance those two in a business is like a job in its own, But I'm very lucky with the people that I have around me because we balance each other out and it just always seems to work out in the end. So yeah, so I think yeah, get a support structure in place
Yeah,
and know that this journey is not one that you can travel alone. It's not one that you should travel alone.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and set that support structure up in place before you make the leap.
The, highs and the lows that you were talking about, that's basically
Yeah.
just being a sales leader, especially when you've
Mhm.
got, like, all the quotas to hit, and you've got a team, someone leaves and do you know what? It is so funny, and I say this not just about, I suppose, working within the corporate world and going through a sales cycle,
Mm,
but just in general, like, there's always something better around the corner. Like, something's happened, but trust me, I'm a big believer, like, everything happens for a reason. I'm one of those.
100%.
I believe in
100%.
the universe and just,
Yeah.
angel numbers. I'm really into all of
Yeah.
that stuff. So for me, I was like, if something happens, it's because something better is gonna be there.
You have to be an optimist
Yeah,
because nothing ever goes to plan. Like, and as long as you're comfortable with that, and you always have. And so I am a risk taker,
yeah,
and not everybody will be a risk
mm,
taker, but I have and always have been a risk taker, and I'm also very good at strategy. So if something doesn't work over here, I've always got a plan B and C waiting around the corner, like always.
yeah,
And if you can go into your entrepreneurship journey having those types of plans in place or trying to have those types of plans in
yeah,
place, your life becomes so much easier because you're not worried about when things fail. And the other really good lesson for people that want to be entrepreneurs is 80% is as good as 100% and never going live.
Yeah.
So whatever you're creating, if it's 80% and that's good enough, get it out into the marketplace, stress test it, MVP it. Do not sit back and wait for 100% perfection,
Yeah.
because people will accept your 80% as 100%, even if you know it's not 100%. Because
Yeah.
I was a problem with that. Like we
Yeah.
stopped delivering some really great events because I didn't feel that they were 100%. But when I spoke to our customers afterwards, they were like, "That was the best event I've ever been to," and I was like, "Really?" Because I thought that was only 80%, and they were like, "No, Leanne, that was like amazing." And I was like, "Okay, their perception is not your perception, and
Yeah.
you're actually standing in your own way now."
Yeah.
So another, I think the best thing about being an entrepreneur is all the lessons that you learn.
Yeah.
It really is. And
Mm.
it's a very different lessons to what you learn when you're working in somebody else's business.
Yeah. I
Very
can
different.
Yeah, definitely. Talking about us, we're kind of touching upon that kind of mindset piece around being an entrepreneur, and we can
Mm,
talk about like imposter syndrome. I know some people definitely don't believe in it, but I do think like when you become an entrepreneur, and I've started small businesses,
mm.
I started personally like a fitness thing in COVID
Amazing.
because I was like,
Yeah.
why not? Like, I've got nothing else to do on
Mm,
my weekends. And I broke even. I didn't continue, but I was just like, because I didn't
amazing.
want to do the whole social media thing. But like the hardest part is the mindset and just like, how do you get through that? Because you've got to be an optimist. You've got to, you
Hmm.
know, be positive and all of these things. How do you do that?
It's very hard. I mean, it is. You've got to have that support structure, because often I will
Mm,
be like down in the doldrums going, "Oh, this has happened. We now need to navigate this." And my senior leadership team will go, "Why are you upset about that? Because look at what it's actually opening up over here." Like, you've
yeah.
got to surround yourself with glass half full and glass half empty people,
Mm,
because often your perspective is your lens, and it's not actually what the wider public sees, or
yeah.
what your customers see, or what your partners see. So you've really got to, and you've got to make time for yourself as an entrepreneur. And this is why I said, most entrepreneurs will have self motivation. They'll have, time for themselves. They'll switch off from work. They'll have these routines, because if you don't, you're going to be giving to everybody else and your own cup is going to be empty. And I know it
Yeah.
sounds so cliched when I say that, because I used to look at these entrepreneurs and go, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's fine to do that when your business is making millions of dollars, but when you're trying to like climb the ladder and scale the heights on the mountain, and
Yeah.
you're doing all the grind and the hustle, you ain't got no time for yourself. But honestly, the minute you set that boundary and the minute that you put that self-care in is when you start to see the results of caring for self.
Mm,
You cannot let your business overshadow your own needs as well, because it's
yeah.
just an unhealthy relationship. It's an
Yeah.
unhealthy relationship, and you will burn out. Um, and so, I had to learn that the hard way, because I kind of almost did burn out last year. It was 5 years on the grind. I took some time off over the summer, had a fantastic family holiday, which I hadn't done in 5 years,
Wow.
where my husband was literally like, "I don't care if the business burns down, nobody's calling you. We're going on a family holiday." And it literally changed my life. Like,
Yeah.
just having that break, having that support structure where somebody stepped in and said, "Enough now, you need to stop." And since then, I've done less work but made more money. I've done
Wow.
less work but made more money, because one, it forced me to trust my team.
Yeah.
Two, it forced me to look after myself, in which case I came back and did better work. And
Yeah.
three, um, it made me happier.
Yeah.
It made me happier because I didn't feel like I was always on the grind. And
Yeah.
so it's such a valuable lesson to learn. And I hope, because you do hear really bad stories of entrepreneurs burning out.
Yeah.
And I hope that if you are listening to this and you are an entrepreneur, that you make time for self, because it is the best thing that you can do for yourself and for your business.
And I even think like if you're not necessarily an entrepreneur yet, or you're, even just
Mhm.
in the corporate world, like I know I've
You
burnt
can
out
get
many
burnt
a
out in the
time,
corporate world too if you don't have support structure.
right? Yeah,
Believe
even
me.
more so sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think everyone needs time for self. I think that's really important and something that I've learned over the past few years. I think especially coming to the States, actually, I see it a lot
Mm.
more in the States. People are very
Yeah.
much,
People work incredibly hard over there. I mean, we're
yeah,
quite lucky in the UK. We have public holidays. In the US, I was
yeah,
shocked to find out that people only have 15 days leave a year. I was like, what now? That's
yeah,
not even enough to take a family holiday. How do you look after your kids?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
school holidays, school terms here in the UK is 6 to 8 weeks. So, we really are lucky here. But different ways of working, whatever the case may be. But
Yeah,
if you are only able to take 15 days a year, make sure those 15 days are spent on you doing
yeah,
the things that make you happy.
yeah. I
Um,
agree.
and
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, I do agree. Well, I love this, and I feel like I could talk to you for hours because I have so many more
Thank you.
questions.
Yeah.
But we do have a tradition on this podcast, which is just some closing quick fire questions that
Mm,
I want to get your answers to. Now, they're slightly more corporate focused, but we'll do
yeah.
this as an entrepreneur. I want to hear your answers. So the first question is, what is your superpower at work, serious or silly, that no one would know from your resume?
Well, believe it or not, I'm a killer karaoke queen. So I actually
Yeah.
represented my country when I was 17 and sang with Pavarotti. So if anybody is having a karaoke night, they're always going to want me on the mic. But in seriousness, that's in my past life. But in seriousness, I think my superpower at work is that I'm a super connector, which is why I'm so good
Mm,
at what I do.
love
I'm
it.
very good at kind of like bringing people together, going, you need to talk to this person. And then poof, a whole bunch of business happens. So I
Yeah.
literally embody partnership marketing.
Oh, I love that. I did not know that. Now I feel like we should have had a karaoke session on this because that would have been
I
great.
would be your carpool karaoke queen.
Oh, damn. Okay, we're gonna do that next time. Next time we're in the same country, we need
Yeah,
to do that because that's the one. And I
it's
love
super
being
fun.
a connector as well. I think that's
Mm,
so important.
is
Yeah. Okay, I love these. Okay, next one. What is the most like unserious thing that helped you survive both like in your corporate life, but now being an entrepreneur? What helps you get through the day?
taking that time for myself.
Mm,
Never did it for the first 5 years. Now I do it every day. And
yeah,
since I've done it, like I said, I make more money and I have much better rapport with my team, with my family, with
yeah,
myself. And I'm loving it now. But I
yeah,
had to learn I had to learn how to lean into that. Didn't
yeah,
come naturally from the first day.
yeah. What's an example of something that you do like every day now that's just
Every morning I go for a 5 kilometer walk. I've lost 20 kilos in the last 5 months. It's
yeah,
mad.
love
And
this.
I'm super, super healthy. So I don't eat any processed food. And I know I sound like a high functioning these high functioning entrepreneurs that you see on LinkedIn going, let me tell you, I have changed my habits and it does make a
It
difference.
helps.
And I was the, first person to tell you what a load of, bollocks,
Yeah,
from British people, non-British people. That means what a load of beep.
yeah.
Um, but it really does make a difference. Take that time for self. I walk 5 kilometers every morning. That's it. Wind, rain,
Okay.
shine, doesn't matter.
I love that. I'm a massive walker. I have to do 10,000 steps a day without fail. Like
Move
that's
your
my thing.
body.
Yeah.
Move your body away from your desk and free your mind.
Yes, agree. Okay, final one. What is one piece of advice you would give your younger self?
Don't be afraid to fail because in
Mm,
every little micro failure, you will learn something new and it will stand you in good stead for the next big loop when you get to the next high. Life is a series of loops. You've
mm,
got to come down to fail and learn and embody in order to go back up again. So don't be afraid to fail.
yeah, love that. I completely agree. Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much for
You're
taking
welcome.
time. Appreciate it. It's been
It's been a lovely
fabulous.
chat.